Federal Premium Ammunition, surgical precision, terminal results. Bushnell, performance is the only thing. Safari Club International Canada, first for hunters.
Hi folks, thanks for joining us here at Federal's Trigger Effect. We have a very unique episode for you this week. Dean, what are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you, Kent, you and I have talked about doing this for years, and what it is that the focus of the episode is going to be on taxidermy, but what we're really talking about is what taxidermy is really about. You know, so about the memories that are made, you know, the artistry behind it. It's just going to be a really good delve in behind the entire aspects of taxidermy.
Well, let's go and see how memories are made.
So Kent, I think before we head into doing the taxidermy part, we should maybe show the viewers how we got these black bucks.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We were down in Argentina for our very first time. We were hunting with our good friend Gustavo, and we had never hunted black buck before. And I mean, it was a real eye-opener for us. So let's get down there and see how we made out.
What do you think of that?
Yeah! so reload, just in case.
Just
reload.
in case? I'll just keep on him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think he can do just even one step, you know? It's really nice, man.
That was
it's
incredible.
Really nice, buddy. Good shot, buddy. $170, $160. Reload. That's a long shot. Wow.
Oh, my friend Gustav. Wow, is that exciting. Boy, are these things cagey. Can they ever see?
It was a very nice shot.
And
Two
tough.
of them.
Oh, man. Two shots in the boiler room. I mean, that first shot right in the lungs. Man, are these little black bucks tough.
Well, Ken, that brought back a huge amount of memories for me. And you know, the one thing I think both you and I are surprised about is how similar hunting black buck is to North American pronghorn.
Yeah, I mean, they're fast, they have incredible eyesight, but what a beautiful animal. And I think it's about time we should get working on these things.
I agree.
Okay, as we had mentioned, this is going to be a compressed taxidermy episode. We're going to have to do additional hide prep with these hides after they come back from the tannery. You're going to have to pare down some of the leather on the face, around the lips, around the nostrils, the ears, and most definitely around the eyelids. So once we get all the paring done on the cape, we move to stitching up any of the little cuts and holes that are in the hide. One of the most delicate spots is the ears. Another thing about the ears is we get ear liners for them, and sometimes they're not uniform. I don't know if you can see that. They're kind of different shaped, and also they may not fit this exact ear perfectly, so we have to do some modifications to that. Once all the holes are sewn up on the cape, on the face and the ears and stuff like that, I like to use a hide conditioner. It just gives the leather a little bit more stretch and allows it to fit the form a little bit better. Once the conditioner has set into the hide and we're ready to get to the next step of putting it on the form, before we do that, we must adhere the ear liners to the inside of the skinned out ear. So I use a 2-part epoxy for this because it takes about 24 hours for it to set totally. So it gives me lots of workable time.
This segment is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition, Surgical Precision, Terminal Results.
Okay, we've got the hide all prepped. It's now sitting with the conditioner in it, softening up. The next stage is to prep the form that we're going to put the hide on. This will include attaching the horns or antlers to the skull, sanding the form down, setting the glass eyes into place, and getting it ready for the next step. Okay, well, we've skipped a step. I've actually attached the skull and horns, modeled in around the eye socket earlier with paper mache so that we'd be ready for this. Okay, so I've sanded the seams on the molds for the form. The next step is hollowing out the nostrils, cutting in the lip line and the tear ducts, then we'll set the eyes in. Okay, now with the same modeling clay that I like to use, I will model in around the eye, which gives me a good base to tuck the eyelid into once we pull the hide over it. We're going to apply the hide paste to the form, and that's what will give the skin adherence to the form and keep it from what they call drumming or pulling away. So I use a water-based hide paste, and I'll be putting on liberal amounts. Okay, we've had our hide. These black bucks are small little hides, so they're pretty easy to handle. We've had it conditioning with our conditioning agent, and it's now ready to pull onto the form. The ears have been inserted, so I'm going to put it on the form. But I use awls to hold it into place on the form once I get it in there so it doesn't slide off. Okay, I've quickly just put the hide on the form with the hide paste, holding it into place. A few of my awls are holding the back. I'm going to lower it now, and what we'll do is we will start stitching up the back of the skull. Well, now that we've got it all stapled into place, the next stage is to tuck the eyelids in, the nostrils, the lip line, get the tear ducts into position. Okay, we've got the black buck pretty much finished. Just got to take it off of the mounting stand, put it on the wall, get it square, and then I can level and straighten my ears.
Well, Kent, I have to admit, it was super cool watching you do the first stages on that black buck. But, you know, before we jump into the next stage of doing it, I do want to address something. And I know for me that even when I have people come over to my house, they look in the wall, and the first thing they associate with is I'm a trophy hunter. And, you know, I go out and I hunt and I cut the heads off, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. No, I mean, for us, it's not about that. I mean, you and I have both said over the years that we can't remember what we had for breakfast this morning or yesterday, but we can go into detail, minute by minute, second by second, of every one of those hunts we were on that are a part of our game rooms.
It's funny how people can't look at a parallel scenario of like going on a vacation.
Yeah.
You know, like my family and I went to Disneyland, and you know, we bought the Mickey Mouse ears and we took the pictures, and you know, we did all of those components, and we come home and we put a scrapbook together, we put a picture on the wall and everything, and that's fine. Yet when a hunter does the same thing, because we all take pictures of our animals, we're proud of it. We take, you know, pictures of the experience, you know, we get the heads and we put them on the wall. We're doing the same thing. It's a memory for us.
And not only is it the memory of harvesting that animal, it's the people you're with.
Yeah.
And I mean, you and I both have people we've hunted with our lives that are no longer with us.
Yeah.
And those animals mean something to us.
Yes.
Because those people were with us. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not trophy hunting.
No.
And I hate that term. This is our life. This is what we do. And we show respect by continuing to adore these animals long after the hunt was over. Okay, we've got the black buck completed to the stage where it needs to sit and dry for a while. It can take up to 2 weeks, maybe even a month for some of these animals to dry completely before you do the finishing. So we're gonna leave it for right now, and tomorrow we'll be back and we'll be finishing off these whitetail because they've already been dried. So see you tomorrow.
Taxidermy services provided by Hunters Union and Ray Wiens Taxidermy. And thanks to these other fine sponsors.
You know, Dean, before we move on to the next stages of the finishing of these whitetail mounts, how about we take the viewers back and relive that hunt?
Oh, I would love to go back and relive that hunt. We were hunting with our good friend Lance from Woody River, and I remember the year before, you and Everett had went there, and you guys came back and you bragged up how amazing the hunt was, and I finally got to go, and boy, I'll tell you, it did not disappoint. But I'm not going to, you know, let the cat out of the bag. Let's go to the footage and see how it all went down. He's down. Wow, Kent, that brought back a flood of memories, and boy, I'll tell you, Lance put us on two absolutely smasher bucks.
Yeah,
but the one thing I wanted to talk to you about, though, I know in us talking with a lot of our outfitters, and like Dean, for instance, from Muskeg, they lost their entire season due to COVID-19. And I'm just wondering, has it affected you as a taxidermist?
Most definitely. I mean, it's been a drastic effect to me. I mean, I still get local hunters that have been out. I get that work, but a lot of my business is from foreign hunters from the US, and with the border being shut, it has affected me a lot.
That's right, and I think actually, Kent, that sounds like a great topic for Lethbridge College's Conservation Connection.
Because of the border closure between the United States and Canada, our guide outfitter business has been devastated. The only customers to speak of are residents of Canada, so they've had a really tough year.
This COVID pandemic isn't just about Canada and the US and the things we're experiencing, but some other countries from a conservation and management perspective are being hit drastically, countries like Africa. And the reason this is because Africa gets all of their conservation money from hunters going over there and spending money to go on safaris.
However, on the positive side, parks across Canada are seeing record numbers coming to visit, most likely due to the reduction of travel outside of our borders.
Other sectors affected by COVID are the non-profit organizations, such as Safari Club International, Canadian Wild Turkey Federation, and the Wild Sheep Society. These organizations make their money through banquets, and that is bringing people together. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now.
Another silver lining story is the increase across North America in the sales of both fishing and hunting licenses. For example, there's been a 25% increase in sales of hunting and fishing licenses in the state of Kansas. Here in Alberta, we sold 10,000 more fishing licenses by July than we had in 2019. I do know that in the state of Missouri, however, they had 20,000 new turkey hunters this past spring.
Well, I guess I should talk about how COVID-19 has affected Kent and I in the television industry, because it has. A lot of the sponsors are very leery on spending in these unknown financial times, which has resulted in financial impacts. But the other way it's also hit us is basically we can't travel. So COVID-19 has really affected a lot of people, including the television industry.
Well, we've moved on to the finishing stage. These whitetail were mounted a while back. They're dried out now. So now I can remove the pins, all the screening, the staples out of the ears, and move into the final stages of these mounts. Okay, all the pins, staples, everything's been pulled. Now we have to do an epoxy around the eyelids, inside the nostrils, and maybe sometimes if there's a little bit of damage along the lip. This will dry hard, and I can airbrush over top of it to make a real natural looking eyelid.
Your dream is here.
This segment is brought to you by King's Camo. See the difference. Now, back to Trigger Effect.
Okay, we're at the final stage here. We're going to airbrush the color around the eyes, inside the nostrils, lip, nose, everything like that. And then the clear coat. A little bit more up in the top of that nostril, same with that one. Okay, so I've airbrushed both the white-tailed deer. When I'm airbrushing in and around the eye, there's always a little bit of overspray onto the glass eye, so I use a scalpel blade. It's a little bit tedious, but I get all that paint off of the eye, the glass eye, and then once that's cleared off, as long as the eyelid still looks great, then we can do the clear coat, and then we're done. Okay, this is the last stage. I've got the deer back on the display wall. Gonna give them a quick clear coat on the nose, inside the nostrils, lips. I cover the eyes because I don't want any overspray onto the eye, the glass eye, until I'm ready to give it the clear coat. That'll be the last stage. I'll do the noses on both these deer first, then finish off with the eyes. All it has to do is dry and the customer come pick it up.
Well, Kent, again, we've gone through this whole experience of, from when the animal comes out of the field to the point where I hang it on my wall and have a memory of a lifetime. And, it is a tremendous amount of work. And I know for me, I definitely want to thank you on behalf of my family and myself because, it does capture that memory. And I know we said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I can't remember what I ate yesterday, but I literally can tell you the story behind every single memory on my wall.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Dean. I mean, it is important for us to remember that because I know some of the viewers that don't hunt maybe will go to someone's house and they have some mounts on the wall and they think right away trophies.
Yeah.
But they're not trophies, they're memories. They're memories of the people, the experience, the animal, the food it provided. And I feel it's a way of showing respect for that animal
I agree.
and that experience. And it's very important that we get that across to people, that we're not doing this to have trophies. We're doing this as collecting memories. So, and you know what, with that said, I want to thank the viewers at home for joining us this week. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We want to thank our sponsors that make all this happen. And we want to make sure that you join us next week for more Federal's Trigger Effect.
This has been a Thunder Boys production.